Hey everyone, and welcome on into my beauty world. So today we have a fun video planned. We have almost a full face of dupes. I am so excited. So we are going to use the foundation in this Makeup Forever palette. Now I recently got this when it was on sale. This has a full face in it. So we're going to use the foundation as my base, and then we are also going to do the contour and the blush and the highlight on one side of my face. And then with the other side of the face, we're going to do this Catrice Magic Shaper palette. And we are going to see if this palette performs as good or better than this palette. Now this palette was, I think, $8, this Catrice palette. Makeup Forever is full price $89. Can you believe it? So I got this on a really good sale that they had last weekend. So I, have always wanted to try it. I was like, let's, try it out. So we're going to do the foundation in here to double check on how that foundation looks and wears, just to see if that is worth it in this palette. For concealer today, we're going to use the new Patrick Ta concealer. I had to pick this up right away, so I'm really excited for this. And then we have a lot of lips to test out. So I'm going to compare Summer Fridays to this Ruby and Millie TJ Maxx Summer Fridays dupe. We have the shade Brown Sugar that I have the two to compare. And then we are also going to compare the formula to the Ruby and Millie lip tints, which are Rhode lip tint dupes. So I have a Rhode lip tint, and we are going to try those out today. And then we're going to start with doing the Ruby and Millie Lip Sleeping Mask in the shade Vanilla. So we're going to do this on one side of my lips, on the dupe side. And we're going to do my current open Laneige Vanilla Sleeping Mask. I happen to have the vanilla open that I use every night before bed right now. I always put something on my lips before bed, and Laneige so far has been my favorite. So we are going to compare these. We're going to do one side each, and we are going to see how the dupe compares. And I happen to lose my spatula, so we're just going to use my Laneige spatula for this one, which is fine. Guys, I don't know how they do it. Look at these. Ruby and Millie, Laneige. Can you believe this? That's crazy. Okay, so let's do drugstore on this side. Or, well, not necessarily drugstore, but the dupes on this side and the high-end on this side. So this is a fully clean applicator. We're going to take the Ruby and Millie Vanilla. You can see. We're going to dip into this with the applicator. We're going to put it on one side of my lips. Y'all. As someone who uses the Laneige every single night, this is wild. This is wild. Okay, I'm cleaning off the applicator. There's nothing on the applicator. And we're going to do the Laneige on the other side. Now you can see, I mean, it doesn't look like I've used a lot, but I use this every single night. I've used it for months. These containers go a long way. Okay, now I'm going to try to make sure there's the same amount on each side. So I'm going to take one finger and smooth this out. And one finger and smooth this out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can barely feel a difference. I'm talking like not at all. And if you look, the shine, nearly identical. That is the best dupe I have ever found. I think this was $5.99. $5.99. Y'all, we're gonna test out how hydrated this feels, but this is phenomenal. Phenomenal. I can't wait to save my money. I mean, again, we'll test out how hydrated it is, but oh my goodness, I am so excited for that. Wow, so close. So I did not glow. So one thing I didn't do is try to figure out what to wear on my eyes. I'm wearing like a purple or a maroon sweatshirt on top of this black shirt. So I think we're going to go into this Unstoppable shade on most my lid, and then maybe Protected. So we might go into this shade Protected here, and then Unstoppable. And just to do a quick little bronzer in the crease, I'm going to take my Hourglass bronzer from my Dear palette. We're going to take this with a Details by Tati EX5. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, before we do that, wow. I'm going to start out with my Hale cream toner. I can't believe I just skipped all of my first steps. This is probably going to be a long video, guys. Sorry in advance. Okay, then we're going to use my MAC Paint Pot and Painterly. Cancel out the redness in my lids. Just going to take that with my finger. Now we are going to go in with the EX5 and build this up on my outer corner and going into my crease. Okay, and then we're going to start out with the shade Unstoppable, and this is the Danessa Myricks Lightwork 5 I Am palette, and this is going to be a suede shimmer. And then I think for the very inner part of the lid, let's actually take the shade Loved here. And the shade Loved is a silk press shifter. I think that looks really nice. Kind of subtle, but I'm not mad. So we're going to take whatever's left over on my EX5 and just go over that in the crease again a little bit, in the outer. And I think that looks pretty good. I'm only doing one errand today, so I don't have to really dress it up too much. I don't know that the colors go together all that well, but I don't want to start over. So we're just going to leave it, and it's just going to be simple. And then we're going to use the Quick Flick Intense Black liners. And let's see if we can do a better job today. Okay, how's that look? Honestly, that looks okay. Now let's take the other one and see if we can match it. Go. That's a little better. Okay, and since I am going to Kohl's today, I think I am going to finally trade in my little mascara coupon, and we are going to get the Charlotte Tilbury out of this set. So in honor of that, we're going to use the Charlotte Tilbury today. Because I still have the mini that I've been using. And honestly, it's been working out great. And I didn't have any smudging issues using the Morphe powder under my eyes with the Patrick Ta concealer. I think that looks really nice. Again, I know I repeat this all the time, but I don't build it up because I wear glasses. Okay, so honestly, I think the eyes turned out okay. They're not my favorite, but they will do. All right, and let's put on my sunscreen. So now that I've added that toner, it kind of messed up my steps a little bit. And usually I will put down this earlier, but it's okay. We will let it sit for a minute. And maybe just to let it fully dry, I'll take out my fan today. Perfect. I think that is now dry. Yeah, roughly. Okay, so like I said, we're going to start out using the foundation in here because I really want to see if this palette is worth it. And in order to do that, we have to use the foundation. So there's about 4 different colors here. Now, because I want to use the Patrick Ta concealer, we are not going to use it as concealer. But I think I'm going to try to use maybe a mix of the lightest 2 here and use that as all over foundation. So we're just gonna dip into a little bit of it. Now this is a Amazon brush that I got. And we're just going to pat this all over. Now, I'm going out of town next weekend. I'm not sure when you're going to see this, so I'm not sure when I'll be going out of town compared to this weekend, but in real time, I'll be going out of town next weekend to see my dad. It's my mom's birthday, but my mom passed away in 2023, and my dad had ended up moving to Iowa. And so we try to visit him when there's anniversaries or like his birthday, which is July 4th, and like their anniversary and things like that, just so that he's not alone. And you know, we just really want to be there for him as best as we can. So my husband and I take the journey with our dog, and it's about 5 hours for us, and we go visit him. I think I might actually just be the lightest shade. Yeah, I think this is a little too dark. Honestly, I kind of like the way this looks though. We are going to go visit my dad, so I'm really excited to see him. It's been quite a while since we've seen him, so I'm excited to see him again. And my brother is actually coming up with my niece and his wife. So his family, obviously, is coming to visit as well. They live in Minnesota, about 3 hours from my dad. So they're going to do a day trip. We're going to do a weekend trip. We always bring our dog with because my dad actually has my dog's brother. They came from the same litter. So they end up playing. And my dad has an electric fence that my dog knows how to operate with, so we just let them play and enjoy the weather. It's supposed to be like 50s in Iowa next weekend, so I'm really excited for that. So maybe we can get out and do something or play yard games, that kind of thing. Now, honestly, this is doing a pretty good job covering my redness. I mean, I still have some redness peeking through, but it's not terrible. Let's see if I can pat more coverage on. And honestly, this might be something that I bring with me on vacation just to see how it performs. But honestly, I kind of like the way it looks. It looks really dewy, but kind of like the way it looks. Okay, we're going to take my e.l.f. Putty bronzer brush, and we're going to take the Catrice palette. So we are going to use, I'm going to try to do more of the lighter contour and then maybe just tap into the darker one. Oh, this seems very creamy. Okay. I don't know how pigmented this is, so wish me luck. We're only going to do this one on this side of the face. Pick up a little bit more. Ooh, that looks really nice. I really like the way that looks. Oh, I really like the way that looks. Okay. So that looks really nice. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off the brush like this, because I don't have a lot of brushes, but you can see I'm getting the excess off of the brush. And we are going to go into the Makeup Forever palette. And I think well, there's only really 2 bronzers, so I'm going to mix the two. I'm going to do more of the lighter, tap into the deeper. We're going to do that on the high-end side. Okay. So right away, what I'm noticing is, oddly enough, the Makeup Forever side is just a little bit more orange. So I'm going to try to get more of the cool tone color and pat over this. Okay, so I kind of went a little bit crazy on this side, so we're just gonna pat over this with my sponge. Dare I say I like the Catrice color better? I'm shooketh right now, but I think I like this color better. Okay. Crazy. Okay, so I'm going to take this Details by Tati EX3, and we're going to use one side for the Makeup Forever and the other side for the Catrice. Now, it looks to me that the two blushes in the middle, of this palette match the two blushes in the Catrice. So I'm wearing more of maroon today, so I think we are going to use the pink tone. Okay, let's try that again. Now this side of my face does get a little bit patchy sometimes, so I figured I would put the high end on the patchy side just so that we can really test it out. Because ultimately, this side should perform better, right? So again, we're going to pat this over with the sponge. I kind of went rogue here too. I think that looks good though. It is a little patchy, but I will survive. And then we are going to just wipe off the brush. We're going to take the opposite side and do the pink in the Catrice. And maybe we will pull my husband at the end of this and see if he can guess which side is the high-end side and which side is the dupe side. That's beautiful. And I feel like I'm missing some coverage on the high-end side, so we're going to flip the brush over, go back to the high-end side, try to enhance this a little bit. Dare I say the Catrice has been easier to work with? Yeah. I know we have to do a wear test still, but it's kind of looking like save ya money. Okay. So I don't think I'm going to set these down because I really want to see how they wear. I am going to do my T-zone, but I think we are going to and under my eyes, of course. And I think we are going to do, let's do the Patrick Ta concealer. Now, if you would have seen my short, I did do the concealer with no color corrector underneath. And honestly, it worked well. It just, it wasn't as nice of a coverage as I wanted. So I am going to use a color corrector today. So if you want to see it without a color corrector with my blue vein and everything, the short will be out soon. Or it might already be out by the time you see this. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Huda Beauty color corrector in Cherry Light. And this is just the mini that I got with that Sephora trip. And we are going to use a angled brush. It's kind of a smaller brush, and we are just going to try to hide the darkest part of my under eyes. And you see this vein right here? It always kind of peeks through, so I always need a little bit extra on this side. Now, I know Patrick said to let the concealer sit. I don't tend to do that just because it always usually seems to look too dry for my under eyes. Not with this concealer. I haven't tried it with this concealer, but other concealers I've done. So I don't usually let my concealer sit. I pretty much blend it out right away. So we are going to use the Patrick Ta concealer. This is the new concealer in the shade Fair Neutral 2. And I know people usually do the inner and the outer, but I put this where I have the most darkness. And we're just going to use this Amazon concealer brush and pat this on. And I know it's pretty bright. But I think that looks pretty good. I don't really find it too hydrating, but I do tend to like it. It does crease very, very quickly though. So watch out for that. So we are going to do We're going to use my Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder. And then we're going to use my Nikki Rose N14 BK Beauty brush. Just get some powder on here. Try to pat out any lines. And then pat that over. And I always do a little bit on the blush area. Honestly, it's mostly out of habit. And I always do the sides of the nose and the smile lines. Do a little bit on the center of the forehead. Yeah, I think that looks good. So far I am liking the concealer. Is it my favorite of all time? No. But I have been enjoying it. But we will try to do a check-in at the end of the night, just to see how everything is going. And then let's do some highlighter. So, let's take a look at these. There's really only one highlighter that matches, which is the lighter of the two. So we're going to go in with this highlighter today, and we are just going to use my finger. So I'm going to use this more gold one. Oops. Oh. Get some on my finger. And we're going to tap that in. Now I know I put powder on. It is what it is. I guess we're really testing it out to see how it goes. Over powder. Yeah, I think that looks nice. And now we're going to take the Catrice on the other side with my other finger. This one's a little less creamy. So the Catrice is a little bit more sparkly. And the Makeup Forever is a little bit more dewy. So this is the Makeup Forever. This is the Catrice. So for the highlighter, I am liking the Makeup Forever better. I do like a dewier look over, you can really see the sparkles. Okay, so I can tell right away that this foundation is gonna be dewy, because my goodness, I am pretty dewy. Okay, so look at what I'm seeing. You see, this is the Laneige side, and you see this like white film here on the dupe side. Oh, actually, looks like I have a little bit on both, but this side looks a little worse. Overall, though, they're still feeling really nice. And they're both looking just about the same glossiness. And they feel just about the same. Okay, so for under the eyes, I think we're just going to put some bronzer. We're going to go back in with my Tati, or my Details by Tati EX5. We're just going to pinch the brush. And put some bronzer on my under eye. You can see, even with powder, this concealer is creasing a bit. I don't love that. So, I might change my mind by the end of the day. Because we literally just set it with powder, and it's already creasing again. So that's for sure not my favorite. Okay. And then what I always do is put a little bit of the highlighter on the inner corner. So I'm going to take my pinky and the Catrice highlighter on the Catrice side. A little bit on my brow bone. And a little bit up above. And then I'm going to take my Makeup Forever and my other pinky. Oops. It didn't transfer, thankfully. Both are looking very dewy. Okay, guys. This is looking really good. All right, let's use my Maybelline Super Lock Tinted Brow Gel in the shade Deep Brown. And run this through the brows. Perfect. Okay. So that looks really good. So now let's test out some of these other dupes that we have. So the first thing that I'm going to do, let's start with the Summer Fridays. Actually, no. Because I have matching Summer Fridays, let's start out with the Rhode. So I bought the Rhode Peptide Lip Tint in the shade Salty Tan. Now, I don't have an exact dupe for the Salty Tan, so we're going to make do. We're really testing this one in the formula, but I have literally almost every other shade in the Rhode in the Ruby and Millie brand, so I'm really excited. This was $9.99 for all four. So I think I'm going to use the shade Toast. This is more of a brown tone. This is more of a mauve. But if anything, we might be able to mix Toast and Raspberry, I think it is. Raspberry Jam. So I might end up mixing both of them. Because I think if I mix these two over here, should give me this color. Now, I've never tried the Rhode, so I am excited to try it because everyone has loved it in the past. So this is the Rhode, and this is going to be the shade Salty Tan. Okay, I really like the feel of that. It's got a good amount of slip. And I like slip. I think the Ole Henriksen is way too thick for me, personally. So I'm going to make sure none moved over. And we're going to take the shade French Toast first. And this is the Ruby and Millie. Colors are a little different. So this is French Toast in the Ruby and Millie. And this is Salty Tan in the Rhode. Trying to get just the same level of viscosity and thickness. Y'all. That feels identical. That feels identical. Guys. Save your money. Let's see if... So far, I'm not seeing any strings. I cannot believe that these exist. These are dupes. I can't, I mean, these are, they feel identical. They feel identical. I cannot believe that. I will continue to test them to see if they give the white, like, marks on the inside and stuff like that. So I'll continue to test these out, but wow. Those feel identical. Okay, now let's do the dupes of Ruby and Millie to Summer Fridays. So the first thing that we have is the shade Cherry in the Ruby and Millie Lip Butter Balm. And I have the shade Cherry in the Summer Fridays. Applicator is similar. This is one that my husband bought for me for my birthday or Christmas, and I was so excited that he found this dupe brand. He's the one that actually found this dupe brand for me. Smell is similar. Color's a little different. So the color with the Ruby and Millie is a little more like black cherry almost. It's a little darker. Where the Summer Fridays is a little bit brighter. The Ruby and Millie has no taste, where the Summer Fridays does taste like cherry. But guys, These feel identical. These feel identical. I cannot. These feel identical. Wow. Okay. Let's wipe this off again. And now let's try the Ruby and Millie Summer Friday dupe in the shade Brown Sugar. Again, $5.99, guys. $5.99. And we're going to do it against the mini. Yes, I did. You know, like I like to call it bedazzling. I did add a charm to this. But we're going to try it against the Brown Sugar Lip Butter Balm Mini in the Summer Fridays. So let's start with the Ruby and Millie. This one doesn't quite smell like brown sugar. The other one smelled like cherry. It has such a nice slip to it. I just love the slip. And now we're going to do the Summer Fridays on the high-end side. Now this one smells like brown sugar. It smells phenomenal. Let's take off a little on this side. It's a little thicker. Once you get the same viscosity on the other side, y'all, this is identical. Identical. Save your money. The Ruby and Millie, even if it gives you the white little things, like if you can keep an eye on it, and I'll double check, I'll keep an eye on it. But $5.99 compared to what, $24, $25, whatever this is. Y'all, it feels identical. Identical. Wow. So I'm only going to take the Ruby and Millie with me today out of the brown sugar boba. But yeah, you guys, I think we are done. I usually use a Milani setting spray. I am not going to use a setting spray today because I want to see how each side wears throughout the day. And again, I didn't set it with powder except in my T-zone. So we're going to really see how this looks. All right, guys, so here is the final look. Again, this is the drugstore side. The drugstore side is my right side. And the left side over here is the Makeup Forever palette and Summer Fridays. All right, we might have to go pull my husband and see what he thinks is the dupe and what he thinks is the high end. So far, the only thing I'm really noticing different is the highlight. And honestly, because this highlight is so strong on the drugstore side, I think I'm going to add just a little bit more of the Makeup Forever. Just to try to build it up a little bit. But that's the only difference I'm seeing. This is more metallic of a highlight. It does dry down though. And this is more dewy. But guys, I think this looks phenomenal. It's kind of looking like today we need to save our money. But I will keep you all posted. So thanks for watching. See you in my next one. Okay, we are gonna pull you. One side of my face is high-end, and one side of my face is drugstore. Now, the eyes and the concealer are the same, but the blush, bronzer, and highlight are different. So I want you to pick what side is drugstore and what side is foundation or high-end.
I'm gonna say that side's high-end.
How did you know? That's right. How'd you know? What gave it away?
Because that side looks like you have makeup on, that side doesn't.
Well, hey, you heard it here first. Sweet baby. Thanks. All right. Hi, guys. It's the end of the night. I've had this on for probably about 9 to 10 hours. We're going to see what the makeup is looking like. So this is the drugstore, the Catrice side. And this is the high-end Makeup Forever side. So let's talk about it. Take off my glasses. Yeah, you'll see glasses smudges, but that's normal. So let's start out with the bronzer and the blush. So you can still see the bronzer and the blush and the highlight. See, the highlight is, you see it's like more sparkly. The concealer looks pretty good. Honestly, it didn't crease too much. And let's look at the Makeup Forever side. So the bronzer and the blush is still on this side as well. I just think that the highlight looks so dewy on this side, whereas this side it looks more sparkly. So that is the biggest difference I've seen. I did get pretty oily with the Makeup Forever. You can see oil on my forehead and my T-zone. So I'd probably have to repowder those areas. And I did lose coverage, honestly, probably from my sweatshirt, which is pretty normal for me. I get red here anyway, so it's whatever. So I would say for the bronzer and the blush, as my husband said, it does look a little bit more makeup-y, but not terribly so. I don't think that the price difference warrants you getting the Makeup Forever unless you want the like foundation and concealer type shades as well. And then the biggest difference is the highlight. So the Catrice highlight is really kind of sparkly and shimmery, whereas the Makeup Forever highlight is more dewy. Personally, I think if you're a baddie on a budget, go with the Catrice. You'll like it. Even if you're not the biggest fan of the highlight, you do have bronzers and blushes to look at. If you want the face concealer, if you want the all-in-one palette that can do your face and your concealer and your bronzer and your blush and your highlight, then the Makeup Forever honestly does look really good. It stayed on really well, and like my husband said earlier, it did look like it was less makeup-y overall. So honestly, I think if you're a baddie on a budget and you need to save the money, save the money. But if you want an all-in-one face palette, I honestly like the way this looks. I think, you know, as a dry skin girly, I don't look too dry. I don't look too oily. You know, it gave me quite a bit of dew, but not too much. And I really like the highlighter as well. And then for the concealer, so far, I'm really liking the Patrick Ta concealer. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in my next one. Bye.